Thank you for joining us. I'm Marielle Mose, and here at WCCO, we are celebrating the highlights of female athletes in a new digital series called WoMN in Sports. In Minnesota and around the country, we've witnessed new records, new accomplishments, and a renewed popularity in women's sports. And we're going to share news stories with you every week right here as we do our part to give these athletes the recognition they deserve. Now, here are some of the stories that we've been following this week. An Olympic swimmer is now pursuing her passion to help others in the medical field right here in Minnesota. I spoke with her about how she's diving into this new program right after the Paris Games. The Minnesota Wild are changing the game of hockey and helping little girls in the process. One of the coordinators told me that they're doing whatever they can to make it more accessible. And speaking of hockey, pro NHL players are staying in the game longer thanks to an exercise that is done primarily by women. An Egan Pilates instructor shares how this workout extends a player's career and posture. But first, the Paralympics start in Paris in just a few days. Minnesota athletes are once again making a name for themselves on Team USA. I was lucky enough to meet two of the members of the sitting volleyball team.
As soon as I was like, I'm capable of hard things, I can do anything I set my mind to, my life completely changed.
Lexi Shiflett made the U.S. national team when she was only 16. In that time, she's won 2 Paralympic gold medals with the U.S. sitting volleyball team, one in Rio and the other in Tokyo.
I am incredibly honored to do it again.
The WCCO native was born with a congenital condition that required a knee amputation as a baby.
I've never learned how to walk with 2 feet.
Still, she played club and high school volleyball in her small southern Minnesota town, like any other student athlete would. And those skills helped prepare her for sitting volleyball at the elite level.
You're just translating everything from your hips and up down to the floor. And your hands are your feet.
She's not the only Minnesotan on the national team anymore. Mackenzie Franklin, who grew up in Cannon Falls, fought to make the team in January of last year after her life drastically changed.
September of 2020. Me and my now fiance were in a motorcycle accident where I ended up losing my left leg above the knee.
A volleyball player before her accident, she was determined to keep playing the sport she loves.
It's important to take it as it is and face it head on and choose to take the good out of it.
She was selected as an alternate for the Paris Paralympic team, now with bigger goals on the horizon, all while still maintaining a full-time job as a veterinarian in Red Wing.
I am very determined for LA 2028. You should just start living now and not wait for something traumatic to happen to you.
The U.S. women's sitting volleyball team will play their first match on August 30th against China. They're hoping to become the first U.S. volleyball team to win 3 consecutive titles at the Paralympics or an Olympics. Good luck, ladies. A 3-time Olympian is now pursuing a different passion right here in Minnesota. Dr. Andy Mirez just finished her first week of residency at Mayo Clinic to become a psychiatrist. She competed in the Paris Games for the Israeli swim team and took part in the 4x100 meter mixed medley relay. I spoke with her about the meaning of representing her country in the middle of war and what it's like switching straight into her residency after the Olympics. How'd you feel about, having to have this whirlwind of competing in Paris and having to miss the closing ceremony so you could get to Mayo Clinic in Minnesota as fast as possible? What was that like for you?
I don't think it was so different from other things I've done. Last Olympics, I had finished 2 years of medical school and then taken off what was supposed to be 1 year, but with the pandemic ended up being 2. And so right after Tokyo, I had a couple weeks and then went right back into my studies. And so I think it's something that I've done. I also think that sometimes after the Olympics, it's hard for athletes to figure out what's next. And so having that plan beforehand kind of helped me know, where I'm going and that I have this other thing, and even allowed me to just enjoy the Olympics because I knew what was happening after and that the Olympics wasn't, the end of everything that I had been planning for.
And what did it mean for you to represent Israel during a time where there's a huge national spotlight and not for the best reasons? I mean, was this Olympics even more meaningful for you this year, knowing you were representing a country that was going through a lot of hardship?
Yes, it definitely was very meaningful. This year has been very hard on the Israeli people. And so I felt the love and support from the country and felt so honored. I actually carried the Israeli flag in opening ceremonies, which in and of itself is just such an honor, but to be able to do that in such a hard time and be able to bring so much joy to people that are going through such a difficult time means so much.
From medals to trophies, the PWHL is starting an off-season tradition similar to what's done with the Stanley Cup in the NHL. The Walter Cup was on display this week at Braemar Arena. It was there for the Beauty League, a summer league where NHL players compete and celebrate the state of hockey. As you may remember, the Minnesota PWHL team became the first team to get the championship back in May. Ticket memberships for the next season are currently on sale. Congratulations again, ladies. Now, it's a mission to grow the game of hockey for all players. The Minnesota Wild hockey team now has a program called Hockey is for Me. It removes cost barriers, making the sport accessible to kids of color at a very young age. In fact, according to the U.S. Hockey, 86% of players in Minnesota who are 8 years old and under are white. One of the coordinators tells me she hopes the program will change those statistics. As for the little kids, we spoke to one little girl who says she's already hooked.
I like that I could practice with my hockey skates, and I wanted to practice so when I'm older, I'm gonna be a great skater.
It's been an incredibly fulfilling job. I'm not even a year in, and I feel like I've already been able to make a really big impact, which is really special to me. I feel incredibly grateful to be able to give back to the sport that gave me so much, and to be able to share that passion with all kinds of different people and remove some of those barriers that might be holding them back from doing so.
A Minnesota woman is helping keep elite athletes in the game longer. Denise Stringer is a Pilates instructor at Training House in Eagan. Here she is working with former Minnesota Wild and current San Jose Sharks player Luke Cunnin. She helped him rebound from an injury a few years ago with Pilates, and he continues to do it in hopes of preventing future injuries. The moves might look small, but they give big results.
Slowing them down, getting them to tune into what they're feeling, and getting them to use really small muscles that they're not going to use in the gym is really important for them. It's going to make them more powerful.
I was definitely kind of surprised how hard it was and how good of a workout it was, but just seeing the impact it's had on me, and a lot of hockey players are doing it now, so it's been awesome, and I'll definitely continue to do it.
Now, this story isn't from Minnesota, but it's from our neighbors to the east, and it's all about girl power, literally. A 12-year-old girl in Wisconsin is proving you don't have to be a boy to be a star player on a boys' baseball team. Here's Stephanie Sutton.
Summertime and baseball. Fit like a glove. Plenty of talented boys on the Junior Lancers baseball team. 1, 2, 3, Lancers! But one of their star players is a girl.
I just love the game.
12-year-old Tegan Coffey.
Just a really fun sport, a lot of action.
Her love of the game started at a young age.
I've been playing baseball since I was 3 or 4 years old.
She wears number 44 in honor of her favorite player.
It was Hank Ann's number.
The Elm Grove native, one of the few girls in Wisconsin her age who plays select baseball.
I don't like playing softball because I think it's just too girly for me.
All right, Tegan, let's go. Let's go. Tegan initially started playing t-ball, and the reason why she didn't want to play softball is because she said it's a sport for girls.
Do you think you're better than some of the boys?
Yes, I think I'm better than some of the boys. One out, guys! She's definitely one of the best on our team.
She eats, sleeps, and breathes baseball.
So this is my room.
Decorating her bedroom with her favorite baseball items.
I have a bunch of baseball cards over here. I also collect baseball bobbleheads. Above my bed, I have a Bruce poster. And then over here, this is from MVP from the Game Day USA tournament that I qualified for last year.
Tegan's talents on the diamond, catching the eye of Major League and USA Baseball.
These are my name tag from my locker from the Trailblazer series I went to.
Earlier this year, she was one of only 96 girls invited to participate in the Trailblazer series.
It was all about girls in baseball. All got invited to Vero Beach, Florida at the Jackie Robinson Training Center, and we all played there for a weekend. and I got to meet a bunch of cool coaches. It was just a fun and cool experience for me.
Speaking of cool, Tegan's teammates treat her like one of the boys.
Having Tegan as my teammate is just like any other boy. I mean, we expect the same as her and no more, no less than she delivers.
My ultimate dream is to play for the Brewers in the MLB.
Tegan Coffee, brewing up big hits and proving you don't have to be a boy to play the game of baseball.
It's nice just to represent for girls and to other girls who want to play baseball. Do it, don't let anyone stop you, and play if you want to.
Way to go, Tegan. I love it. Can't wait to see you in the MLB someday. Saturday night, you'll be able to catch one basketball star who is making even more WNBA history. Caitlin Clark dominated the court during her college career, and now she's doing the same as a pro. She notched her 225th assist earlier this week, passing the record for most assists by a rookie. Clark and the Indiana Fever will face the Lynx Saturday at 7 p.m. That same night, the Lynx will retire Maya Moore's jersey, number 23. She joins the 4 other members of the starting lineup for the last 2 championship teams. Moore played 8 seasons with the Lynx. That's her entire career. During that time, she became a 6-time All-Star and won Olympic gold twice. Moore is still inspiring the next generation. Clark herself considers Moore an idol. Well, thanks for watching this week's Women in Sports. We'll be back with more great stories next week. I'm Marielle Mose.